What's up, it's Joe, and in this video I'm going to be reacting to new data which reveals what type of messages the average dude is sending to women on online dating apps. This data was compiled by Beyond Ages, a website which gives you advice if you're a younger man who wants to try and attract an older woman. If you want to see the full results of this data, there's a link in the description. What I'm going to do in this video is highlight 6 of the key findings from this research and explain what this can potentially teach us about how to message women on online dating apps successfully. Alright, but before we start, we need to get on the same page about one thing, and that is the fact that it is important to stand out on online dating. Okay? The last thing you want to be perceived as is average, as the same as every other guy. Okay, these beautiful women, and even the plain ones, they are being overwhelmed with matches and messages on online dating. So if you're just gonna appear the same as every other dude, then you're just gonna get lost in the noise. You're not gonna get as many messages and you're not gonna get as many dates. All right, so this data explains what every other dude is doing, so that gives us a chance to be different. Alright, so we've got some data here on the left. Some 23% just said hi. Hi. And 15% just said how are you. So here we have the most basic human greetings ever known to man. And almost 4 out of 10 men are writing this shit. Okay? So it's really not as difficult to stand out and be original as you may have been imagining. As a man, it's your job to lead the conversation and make it interesting. Okay, women get so many matches they don't have to do that. Okay, and they don't want to, and they don't need to, because they get so many matches they can literally ignore all the guys that say hi and how are you and still be overwhelmed with too many people to message back. Okay, maybe hi works if you're like a complete stud and your pictures and you're just a completely handsome, incredible man. Then maybe she'll reply to hi. The rest of us, we need to be a bit more imaginative. You also see that almost 1 in 3 men included a compliment in the opening message. Now, it's not terrible to compliment a woman, but as you see here, you also running the risk of coming across as cliche, boring, heard it all before, already know that, blah, 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 blah. Just over half gave general compliments such as you were beautiful, a further 17% complimented her smile, 13% complimented her profile, 5% complimented her eyes. Okay? If you want to stand out, avoid all these. You're better off doing like a really... just thinking about anything unique that she probably hasn't heard before. Just be really specific about her, how her photos made you feel. And even if it comes across as really dorky and cheesy, like, you can still laugh that off and then move the conversation forward. At least you've got her like responding. Of course, it's not necessary to start with a compliment or to compliment her at all. Personally, I think that if you've matched on the dating app, then it's already a given that you're attracted to each other, right? And perhaps that's why 8% of guys, they asked her out on a date in the very first message. Okay, I'm not sure I would recommend it myself, but for sure we do recommend, like, you cut to the chase quickly. All right, you strike when the iron is hot. It doesn't take weeks and months of getting to know each other. You really don't need to do that. This 8% of guys, they asked for the date on the very first message. Perhaps that's a bit much, but I wanted to use this opportunity to say that you can skip the bullshit and get to it a lot quicker than a lot of guys do. Alright, so the researchers, they also noted what physical aspects of a man's body that he is most likely to bring up himself. Okay, now I would imagine that in most of these occasions, like, the woman has asked him about it first, right? It would be weird to just start talking about your own eyes or your own whatever. So I would say this data gives us a good insight into what parts of a man's body is the most important as far as what women are asking men about. We've got general body or fitness level, height, face, race, and then really a bit of a drop down to eyes, hair. No one cares about hair. And penis. Alright, just wanted to touch on this really quickly. The most popular time to message was 7 PM. So I think we can safely assume that also the most likely time that women are going to be online messaging is also 7 PM. I don't see why there would be a difference between when men and women are using the app, right? So that's definitely when you want to be using boosts. It's probably when you want to be swiping, and almost definitely when you want to be messaging, okay? You want your message, you want her to see it when it's towards the top of her inbox. Even better, when she's already on the app, then she'll get a notification, right? That increases your chance of her replying. If you're messaging her when she's asleep or when she's at work, okay, by the time she logs in, your message might be halfway down and you're less likely to be seen. If you can be messaging around 7 PM, early evening sort of time, I would predict that's going to increase your chances of getting a reply. And just a fun one to point out last, some golden nuggets, some outliers. So the research has revealed that one woman was offered an all expenses paid trip to Paris on the first date. Another was offered a $1,000 shopping spree. There was a handful of men proposing sugar daddy relationships. Yes, these are outliers, but just a reminder that you are competing with some real elite men on these apps. Rich guys are using Tinder and Bumble and whatever else. There's not really much you can do about it, but you at least need to try with your photos, put a bit of effort into your messaging, and it seems like a lot of the average guys with the messaging anyway, they're not just doing that. So what can you do to improve your message game, to know what sort of pictures work really well on Tinder and Bumble and all the rest, to get girls from Tinder out on a date with you? Well, we've got some resources for you. We've got the Ice White message game Telegram group, thousands of guys in there sharing what's working for them, what sort of photos, what sort of messages, really good engagement in there. Also the Ice White message game Facebook group, and then of course there's the ultimate book, The Message Game by Ice White. I swear by it, it's my texting bible, got some really great results from it. Dozens upon dozens of great reviews on Amazon. This book works, there are dozens of guys that say it does, so go ahead and buy that. That will be a great starting point for you. The link for all these groups and for the book and for all this other stuff I already mentioned is in the description. My name's Joe, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you real soon.